This is just a rant or possibly a journal, somewhere in between those and an analyses piece. And to my new viewers and subscribers, thank you. I don't want to scare you, so if you're not into my political and societal rants, I completely understand if you want to turn off now. My next animated video is coming out tomorrow. And to my fans and friends, thank you for sticking with me. I'm scared. I'm not the smartest person in the bunch, nor am I the dumbest, but I am well informed and media literate, and I get my news from disparate sources, from The Guardian, to The Economist, to the Financial Times, to MSNBC, to Tom Hartman, to Politico, Foreign Affairs, Council on Foreign Relations, The Hill, Mother Jones, BBC, Le Monde. You get the idea. My point is that across all these sources, patterns emerge. Let's call them possibilities that many who aren't as much of a news junkie as I am may not see. So here are some patterns that worry me. We are more dependent upon large organizations and corporations than ever. They provide us goods, they provide us jobs, housing, and our capitalist economy would collapse without them. So much so that when many of the banks failed back in 2008, because of their malfeasance and unethical practices, we bailed them out on the taxpayers' considerably heavy dime, and not one of the CEOs went to jail. Their punishment? They gave themselves raises and bonuses. And this was all possible thanks to the deregulation of the financial industry and the repeal of the Glass-Steagall Act in 1999 and the self-regulation that followed. This is a pattern. More and more deregulation, easing of laws and their enforcement, all the while stacking the courts with judges bought and paid for by billionaires. And more tax breaks or cuts or subsidies for the richest and their corporations. And now, in the worst housing crisis America has ever seen, the rich, through their investment and equity firms, are buying the roof over us. The more they buy, the more expensive the entire housing market becomes. And too many of us are homeless or struggling in America. No one should have to live that way. And everything becomes more expensive for everyone. And what used to be daily occurrences become luxuries, where people die or go into debt because of the cost of health care, and we all work too hard in America in comparison to other countries. And as I discuss in another one of my videos, things like coffee and chocolate could become luxuries by 2050 if steps aren't taken now to prevent it. And we continue to get less, and customer service will diminish, and more jobs will become automated. This is the world we're living in, folks. Do you see that? And what does the federal government do? So many of our politicians are more interested in serving their own sensibilities and interests or their moment in the spotlight. Few truly look after the rest of us. I went to the doctor's today for my annual physical, and even though it's supposed to be free under the Affordable Care Act, that is, Obamacare, the largest hospital chain in my area charged me $30. Ever fight the system? It's harder than fighting bureaucracy, and it's only getting worse. What if we live in a society where we have to start paying for everything, even the right to vote? Where you get charged, if you have to call the police or the fire department? What if those things are contracted out by corporations we don't know who aren't accountable to us? Wait, it's already happening. And if many of us continue to vote against our own interests, it will get worse if Trump becomes president again. He's already told us so in his own words and his own deeds. He wants to end not only democracy, but dissent in America. Don't you see that? Trump is an existential threat to the planet. I explain why in several videos. You can start with the sins of Donald Trump. The rich get richer and seem to get away with everything, and the rest of us are stuck holding the bill. Many are working several jobs, sometimes taking care of parents or children at the same time. Everything is getting more expensive, and we are more and more dependent on nameless, unaccountable, and secretive corporations that most of us only know through their advertising. We live in a consumer culture consumed with consumption. Brand loyalty is a multi-trillion-dollar industry, but what do we truly get from them? Inferior and expensive products that usually don't last as long as they used to, things that you can't fix, and have to return or upgrade to the next best thing. Whether that's computers or music or any pop culture, we're always on to the next biggest and brightest thing, missing all the patterns that we're truly getting screwed. And then we add the wars, and America's tepid support of Ukraine, and until recently, finally, America's change of policy towards Israel. And by Israel, I mean Benjamin Netanyahu, who was indicted and could face years in jail. The laws he's breaking, human rights laws and increasing tensions, is making Israel a pariah state. The people of Israel need to vote him out of office and elect someone who can actually bring peace. Here's a hard truth. For every martyr you make, you find one or two volunteers to take his place. Peace in the Middle East isn't going to be won by more violence. The grievances stack up like bags of sand, concealing the understanding of one's enemy, let alone their position. There are hostages and innocent Palestinian civilians facing famine and genocide to consider. Aren't they the true victims? Governments around the world need to act now. And we need to demand the end of the genocide in Sudan, and we all need to bring peace to Haiti, a country in crisis. And why aren't we standing up to Russia in support of Ukraine? We've completely abandoned the domino theory for what? I'm not sure. Haven't we also abandoned appeasement? We teach our children to stand up to bullies, or we used to. I don't know what they teach anymore, but for every acquiescence, a gain for Russia. And by Russia, I mean Putin. These autocratic, authoritarian, and fascist states are the real threat to world peace and democracy. And we have to stand up to the tyrants that run them. And don't you see, people? Trump is as bad as Putin and will do anything to stay in power and to avoid jail time like Netanyahu. We have to demand more from our politicians and the organizations and corporations who run the government, politics, and culture, the ones who run society. It feels like we're all alone, that no one is looking out for us. Doesn't it? Well, I know what you need. We have to look out for ourselves and each other. After all, we're all the same species, the same race, our DNA 99.9% the same. That's the science, folks. It can't be ignored. We're one big global family and we better start acting like it. But there's a deeper truth in that. By working together for a better future for all, we're all dedicating ourselves to something bigger than ourselves. And in doing so, in concert with our friends and family and fellow neighbors and people across the globe, we truly can feel like we're a part of the human family, part of, that we all belong, that everyone deserves the same human rights. Because guys, we really need to start demanding more from ourselves and each other. Society is frayed. We all feel it. We need to turn the corner from this malaise, this distrust and division. We need to work together for a better world. With listening to each other, we all have a voice to say, and understanding what's important for all of us, for what happens halfway across the globe can impact everything. Just look at the pandemic, or the supply chain issues it caused. I have a whole series of videos on these topics, the problems with lack of civility, and the need for more accountability in government, in politics, and society in general. I talk about how the rich are screwing us, and why we need to start addressing and talking about things like money, politics, civility, civics, and the concepts of the Roman virtues, which I address in several of my videos. I'm not a procrastinator or a soothsayer, but I'm telling you, I definitely see patterns. And we haven't even discussed climate change. I was happy to find out that my own home state of Pennsylvania, according to a recent Global Strategy Group polling, and as reported by Penn Environment, over 3/4 of Pennsylvania voters, 78%, support significantly increasing the use of renewable energy like wind and solar to generate electricity. This includes 93% of Democrats, 84% of independents, and 59% of Republicans. And as The Guardian pointed out in their recent article, Kamala Harris urged to flesh out a climate plan amid warnings about Trump. Pennsylvania is a fossil fuel heavy area. I think most of us can accept that climate change is a thing, and that things can start getting really bad by 2050 if we don't do something about it quickly. And the most important thing you can do for the environment? Don't vote for Trump. I lay it out in my video. A Trump win is the end game for climate change. I urge anyone who has any question as to the dangers Trump poses to the environment and our own health and safety to please watch this video. I don't think many of us truly understand Kamala Harris, while many of us do, including her take and agenda on things like lower quality of life and complete agendas on things like climate change. Will she be our next Al Gore? Because if she isn't, he should be. But the most important thing to know about Kamala Harris is that she is a dedicated, honest, and a true public servant. Isn't that enough reason to vote for her, especially to the fascist Trump? Yes, watch my video on that topic next. There are things happening that we all need to understand may be happening. Maybe they're just possibilities, but isn't that enough warning to take heed? Our democracy is at risk, and if it isn't being said, or being said enough, our very fractured society, as we know it, is at risk. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is certainly your point of view. But I will say the reason we're so frustrated and angry is because we're simply frustrated of being frustrated and angry, as so many of us are. It's wearing us out. The division we sow is returned tenfold. We need to come together as an equal global community of citizens for the interests of all, not for the privileged, corrupt, morally bankrupt few. Give Kamala Harris a chance, America. Our very freedoms, liberty, and pocketbooks are in danger. I know what we need. We need a non-violent social revolution. Something has to give. Something has to change. We all deserve to be heard, And it's time we come together, America, and talk. And that, folks, is the purpose of my channel, what I call the Renaissance spirit. A new, or rather old, take on where we as individuals and societies should be heading. That is, a new framework dedicated to the pursuits of a just, equitable, and humanitarian world, and how and why we all need to be the solution to the issues facing us today. Video topics encompass areas including news, analysis, history, politics, religion, personal development, society, culture, social and environmental justice, and other topics of liberal arts and sciences, including ancient Rome and the Roman Empire, which is a great comparison and contrast of the modern world. Topics perfect for the true modern and egalitarian polymath, a person with an open mind and the thirst for truth in its many forms and disciplines, a journey through knowledge, reason, and time, and a compassion and respect for each other that we so sorely need, and a willingness to forgive. The Renaissance ushered in a golden age and the pursuit of knowledge, knowledge both lost to time and yet to be discovered. It gave birth to the Enlightenment and the Age of Reason and the Age of Humanism, embracing truth, knowledge, and an understanding and compassion for humanity and our shared history opens up the world to each of us individually and collectively, enhancing our stewardship of the earth and our relationships with one another. Living the Renaissance spirit means engaging with history not as a distant past, but as a living dialogue, constantly informing and enriching our present. And the Renaissance spirit is a reminder of our dialogue with the future, our progeny and posterity, our legacy. Will we grant them a future free from fear of climate change and tales of the end of democracy? Will they admonish us for our sins and omissions, or will they remember us fondly as saviors of humanity and the natural world? Please take the quiz next to see if you're a Renaissance spirit. The Renaissance spirit, more than just a philosophy or style, but a style for living, learning, growing, and thinking. Please subscribe, turn on notifications, and share. If you're looking to explore and experience life in the steps of the true masters of the Renaissance and free thinkers throughout our past, present, and future, including some fun along the way like my upcoming Halloween video tomorrow and my something completely different, I've written a Christmas story that I'll present as pictures in a book. I'll warn you now, it has adult themes, and by that I mean topics which may not be suitable for children. It's both a tale and a lesson, viewer discretion advised. It's completely wholesome with a Christmas message and possibly a new spin and answer to the okay, the rest of this is now also not suitable for children. I won't lie, I think I'm still traumatized by being told that Santa Claus was a lie. And I bet I'm nowhere near the only one who was traumatized by this. We need a new, more honest tale, and I humbly submit thusly. So, dear traveler through time, that's what I call my subscribers. With all my historical spins in my videos, let us continue this journey together, finding inspiration in the stories of those who came before us and those who come next, and forging a future guided by equality, wisdom, and compassion. Vive Renaissance Spiritus! History has not died, only our understanding of it. Thank you for watching. My next video will be another haunted Halloween tale tomorrow. And why haven't more of you watched Midnight, the Magical Black Cat? I really enjoyed the AI animation process on Midnight. I thought it was cute, and thank you all for making Historic Halloween, from Feralia, Samhain, and beyond, such a hit. It's been my highest watched video so far, thank you very much. My Halloween video tomorrow is a historical and political satire sequel to Historic Halloween. I'll return to my life as a Roman emperor on Sunday. Take care all, and please, be good to each other. We're all depending on it.